Okay, so with the ASX here, this is the bullish count, and it's possible to look at this as the A wave, the B wave, and 5 waves down for the C wave. So as long as this current low here can be breached, then it's possible for this market to move to the upside here. Is that probable? Well, I don't think so, based on what we can see with the US markets. Now, the US markets are kind of twofold. We've got a lot of selling pressure coming, from the banking side of things. We're looking at tech stocks. Tech stocks of, well, they're all a little bit different, really, the tech stocks. So basically, from the all-time highs that we've been in place all the way going way back, the current move to the downside, the stocks that have moved up a little way here, they're likely to move down and make new lows. The same with the S&P here. Stocks that have risen up here quite strongly, Meta Platforms, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, they're likely to have a large ABC pattern. Now those guys are just nearly to the top here in their moves here. They've got a little bit more to go here, and that little bit more to go there, I think that's going to be what I think is going to be going to help us have a bit of a rally here and then move down at that point. So it's okay to view it as being a bullish count, but we're not interested in taking long positions in this. If from a trading point of view, the positions, not the day trading, but the positions, getting yourself into a position, is the short side will come before the bullish move does. Because if we were going to be long here, and I'm talking about taking a position and building those positions, then we would need the 7,000 as a catalyst for support. And we would also want to see the right wave structure as an impulse wave. We'd also want to see the right, classic trading levels pattern for the setup, so we can manage our exposure and risk, all that sort of stuff. So, even though this can be wave 2 low in here, it's probably not. Okay, but we need to basically look at it and say, well, that's our bullish count, and we'll just keep an eye on it. And if it progresses and I'm wrong, well, then we can this is what the long trade, this is what it would look like at this point, and we can build on that. It's more likely if we go back to, because it's the beginning of the week, we'll just start with our with our weekly chart here. It's more likely that we've got something like this here that needs to move on down further here. How far it goes, is anyone's guess at this point. But yeah, that's where that would be at this stage. And that would probably need to be over here as well for that. Sorry about that. So yeah, if that low is breached, then that's it. So on the bearish side, taking all that into account, looking at the bearish count, there's two options. We could look at it as wave 1 and 2 and 3 here, and then coming back for wave 4 into these spaces here, or we could look at this as wave 1 down here and coming back for wave 2. In both cases, they're going to be pretty much the same, and we'll get our timing from the US markets. And with the US markets, just as an example, not everything is weak, but say Meta Platforms here, we're just been counting 5 waves to the upside. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this is going to take like maybe 3 days, anywhere between 3 and 4 days to move up, and other markets are the same. with all of that. So I'm thinking that, and also the banks are shoring up as well. This is a very typical picture of a bank, actually. And with the banks, we could look at them the same, really. We could look at them as one and US banks. We could look at them as 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 here. But either way, they're shoring up down here as well for a little bit of a rally in this space. So as an example, the US banks here as 1, 2, 3 down here. We could look at it as 4, or we can look at them as 1 and 2. But we're just expecting, because they move quickly here, and now they're bouncing and they're moving slower. So we're looking for some sort of rally and then a move to the downside on this. We can have a look at the banks in a moment, but yes, they are weak, but they are shoring up in a way here. So a bit of a rally and then down again, you know. So it's the same over here for this. So what I'm thinking is that, yes, we can short new lows here, that we can do that. But at the same time, I think we could get some sort of rally back here and then a move down at that point. So that's what I'm sort of thinking. And this could take a little bit longer than we expect it to. So I'm just going to cut straight through onto the 1000 tick here. Oh, what's that? Did I go to the 50? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, there's a couple of different ways we could look at it. In this case, I've got 3 and 4 here, but the reality is I could put wave 1 and 2 here as well. So, or 1 and, yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter. It just doesn't matter. So, what we can do, there's 2 things that could possibly happen here. We could rally a little bit, and then we could go down for 3, 4, 5. We could do that, or we're going to be pushing up here a little bit further up into here over the next 3 or 4 sessions, you know. And then we come down from that point. So, yes, if you see the market in the morning session being sort of chirpy and strong, then find a level. It might be 69.30, the top of group 1 of 900 here, to go long on, and that will take you up to 50. If this low is just watch out for the open, because the squeeze could come in and do something like that on the open. Do you know what I mean? So once after the 15 minutes has gone through, 15-20 minutes, then you're good to go at that point, you know. So yeah, we're looking for a bit of a rally within all of this move here. So just let the market open, and then if you see strength, then you could probably go long on 20, or just how it depends on how it goes. There's a bit of a gap here, of course, so that might be retested before moving up. I just feel that we need to go up here a little bit. But also, what I wanted to say is that, apart from the morning squeeze on all of this, once let's just assume for a moment that the market does go up. Once it is going up here, then we'll have that low to expose us, so, you know, it'll be exposed, and then we could just try to find the second low here. But I think we could be, you know, moving up here for a little bit on this. You know, this looks impulsive here, and this also looks impulsive here as well. So I think we're going up here. Based on what I can see from the US markets, but US stocks, but they won't open for a little bit. So yeah, I'll just have a look at this on 100 ticks. I don't know if I've looked at it just yet. I mean, it does look like 5 waves down. That does look like 3 waves here. It does look like an ABC. So you could probably short this here if you wanted to, but I'll just go very light on that, and then just understand the 50-60% to the upside here. So in this space here, if you're going long, you'd need to be looking to take some money off the table at that point. So I just let the market open and see where it goes at this point. This is, let me just think of this for a moment. It does look like 5 waves here, doesn't it, in this first little move here, and then the correction nice and deep and sharp, and then all of this is 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth and fifth. Yeah, look, I have to go with the upside, but you know, the futures will come back and cover this gap at some point. Whenever there's a gap, always, especially in the ASX, the SPY, this futures market. If there's even a half a point, you need to know where that is. Obviously not all markets, but I know that from my history with the SPY. So that said, let's just look at the banks. So the banks have got the same situation here. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 here. So I think that they need to push up as well here, right? So we talked about taking profit on these, on the banks, because of this particular rally. So hopefully you've done that. We'll try and find a way back in on that. And when it comes to the banks, if we look here, this is the S&P 5. This is the S&P regional banking sector, and this is a weekly chart. And you can see here that this is weeks. So this is 1 and 2. And then be 1 and 2, and we could look at these as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in here as well. So a few unwinding here. This has still got weeks to come down. Now, at the best, this would be from here. We could look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to this particular point, and then we could move up from that point. That's possible. But the way that it's moving down is behaving like a third wave. So that means that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, just for the A wave, and then the B and then the C wave here. So a much bigger problem with all of this, you know. And when you look at this on the weekly chart, and then you compare it to Goldman Sachs, it can be the same as well. An A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I mean, this is just the conservative count here, by the way, you know, but still, we still need to move down here. You know, there's still weeks and weeks of this to come down here. So that means that the XXJ, our market here, the banking sector, is currently at the 61.8% here, the same as the XJO on its thing. And you can see that it's, you know, it'll have a bit of a rally here, I reckon, and then, you know, have a bit of a rally, try to have a rally here, and then it'll be down again, you know. It'll be, you know, it'll be down something like this, you know. So yeah, we can look during after the Monday and Tuesday. We'll start looking at short trades again for the banking sector at that point. Okay, but yes, it could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave right here, finished, done, and dusted. But it just doesn't look like the case. You know, that's not. It's possible, but not probable. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2 for CBA. So we'll try and find another short position in that in due course. BHP here, we're looking at this is the Australian one, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, or wave 1, B wave, or wave 2. If it's the B wave, then we'll have wave C here, right here, and this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we talked about taking a percentage profit, but now you can also take full profit at this point, and then we'll find a way back into this again as well. You don't have to get out, you don't have to do anything. I'm just saying that it'll probably do this. Yeah, so I'll just leave that up to you. That will be 5 waves there. That will be the same for Rio and FMG as well. So with Rio here, we can have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and then just go straight up from here. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I'm not sure about the 5th wave here. There could be another little drop in this and that, but US dollar has dropped, so it's possible for this to move up at this point. Possible to put this in here, and also possible to have a bigger bearish picture. So if that does rally there with everything else, then we'll be looking for short trades over this side. I don't want to go long yet against the market. The same with Fortescue here. We're not shorting this market because it's the strongest out of the lot. And we come over to the gold market here, but we'll just have a quick look at the other markets, the metals. So with that, we'll just go to here and go to copper. I haven't seen any of these so far. So basically we had some of these US stocks push up here, not all of them of course, but we are seeing a weaker dollar at this point. So let me just get my US dollar Dixie chart here at the moment. So looking at the US dollar here, let me just go back. We're on 100 ticks here. Let me just go to let me just go to the daily chart here for a moment. I mean, we can have a low in for the. This is what I still don't know what's going on here. Unfortunately, I know some of the stuff, but basically, we can do. We can have it here as an A wave, an ABC for the B wave here, and then up for the C wave here. That's one thing. The other thing is that we just basically from the top here just continue all the way down, and we got a top in play here because we've got an A and a B and a C wave here. The trouble with B waves, they're a little bit like wave fours, so it's always a little bit tricky to sort of decipher these things. But yes, we can have a top in here. We can put wave 2 here because we're doing that with the Australian dollar. And the Australian dollar's pulled back into its 50-60%, but in reverse of this. So, I just don't know. All I can do now is just count 5 waves down here for as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. And anything below 5 waves from that top down to here, anything below that, and then I know I'm bearish. But otherwise, we go up at that point. Okay, so gold here is pushed up, so it has taken the top out here. We could look at it as an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave up there. That's possible. But in here, I have pulled this apart. We need to look at that as 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So we're going to come up here and here and here, and then we're going to have an ABC pattern here. I'll talk about that in a moment, but I just want to stay with the copper for a moment. So where was my copper here? Over here. Let's just check about copper here. So yeah, it's just really hanging on for grim death. I expect this is US spot copper, high grade copper, so I expect it to have another leg down here. We're looking for a little wave 4 here, and then another move down, and then we'll check on it. Okay, and the nickel, we know nickel is weak, but it's going to have a bounce. If we look at this one here, we know we're going to go coming into these lows here for nickel. We know we're going to be bouncing around here, so that's going to show up in stocks like IGO here, for example. We're going to see some sort of rally back here on a daily chart here, but we still got lower to go here for IGO. So none of these stocks are going to be any good for trading long in. And lithium stocks. So while the US dollar's pushing down, which it can do for another couple of sessions, we'll be able to see, all of these US ones and yada 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 all sort of push up a little bit. But I wouldn't take it as a bullish position as yet with these, So this is what's the names here, Pilbara. So yeah, I was taking out the low here, so that's a good thing. I mean, we could have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave into here, so I will give that some consideration, and I'll mull that over a little bit. We'll just ponk that there for the time being, and we'll have a look around. How's Liontown doing? Oh shit, okay, well that's a bit of a surprise. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that for a second, and I just want to have a look at just want to have a look at the US one here, this one, because I wanted to see if this would hold up at a 61.8% mark here for this, which is kind of there at the moment. But this would have to be the A wave, the B wave. That's 1, 2. We could look at that as the 3rd, 4th. Yeah, we could do. We'll see. We'll keep a bit of an eye on it. Might turn. But I mean, I've got some of this. I'm not holding my breath for this anyway. But if it does come down here, then because I know this is corrective here, it's okay for me to buy in this zone over here, whatever it may be. So I'll see it as a long-term opportunity at this point for this. This will be my lithium play. And our Chinese friends over here. So still need to come down here further for this. I'll still need to work out this count actually. If anybody's done that, can you send me a count if you've got something, if you've pulled it apart? I mean, I can see that it, like I've said before, it's moving down in a very reluctant way. We can see that the volume's diminishing and diminishing on these, but we have to call that in as the top. What about this one? Was that the top? It wasn't, was it? Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. You see, yeah, it's just, that's quite different, isn't it? Quite different indeed. Okay, that's interesting. Well, it's this one that's got Australian positions in it, so it's got this high here, but we probably need to look at that as a B wave actually, won't we? So we'll have to bring this over to here, and this over to here, and this over to here, and we'll have to lift it up a level at least to here, if not further. So we've got to figure out that trend, okay? That, because that's the guiding light on the situation. Alrighty, so I'll leave that at that. So gold is looking good in this point. So yeah, you may have a little position in here that we talked about going long on. But if you were thinking about getting into this market, then the real trade would come from the top of the B wave here. At that stage, and we would see if other things are falling into place at that point, and what I mean by that is that perhaps we do have a top in here for this, and perhaps we will be coming down here, and if that is the case, we'll be going into a third wave down here that's going to push gold, up a much higher at this point, So that's looking good at this stage, and but remember that if you're trading a stock like Newcrest or NST or something of any of these gold stocks that are following this particular pattern, it's going to pull back. So don't think that you're missing anything up here. Do you know what I mean? Don't think that you're missing out, because that's not the case. We'll get it back over here. We should be able to get it back at minimum 1950 here, or 1965 at absolute minimum, So just be mindful of that. And Newcrest mining here, obviously that's going to jump today. So yeah, I mean, how far it jumps and what it does, I'm not sure. But when US spot gold pulls back for its, which won't be long, it'll be something like this as well. But we're getting that really nice floor in there at 22, So this is looking like the buying zone in here if you're just looking for stock, I've got some of this as well. I suppose as an analyst I've got to declare sort of thing. But look, my positions are really so small, and I don't do anything dishonest. I don't front run or do anything. I just don't do anything. So yeah. But like I said, I like gold, you know what I mean? I can see that the US dollar in the bigger picture, has got to come down, So, is this a daily chart here? Yeah, so in the bigger picture here, and I can see this from the Australian dollar, I don't know if we go up to here just yet or anything, but I do know that we come down here, So anything on the other side of the fence here is going to be... like gold is going to benefit from this, and hopefully the commodities will as well. Yeah. So that's that. And the Australian dollar. So with the Australian dollar, this is kind of why I think that the US dollar can have a top in here. We knew that it was sluggish and slow to move up here. But at the same time, it never reached its position up here. So the Australian dollar here, it's pulled back into its box here, or it's done all of that, So we thought, well, okay, we'll get a little 5 waves up here. There's wave 1, an A and a B and a C here. We track little 5 waves up here. We thought we would sort of be brave and take a little tiny position here. That's all good. So this will be what we'll do next. This here will be a rinse and repeat here. So that means that we'll look at this as 1 and 2 and probably 3 and 4. So we'll look up for 5 here, and then we're going to get an ABC pattern again over here. Now then we can just look to go along over here again. But this is where it could all crumble on us, and we come down from this point, and all of this becomes an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave over here. You know, so technically we have to move past this 5 waves here, because at the moment it can be an A and a B and a C wave here. You know, it could be a larger wave 4, like wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here. But no, that's not what we're getting with our 5 waves up here, you know. So yeah, we'll just keep working it, you know, just keep managing that risk, you know, that's all we can do. You know, all we can control is how much we lose. So we know where the weak spot is. We need to move past that weak spot. At the same time, we just sort of, you know, edge in a little bit. But this position here will be at risk unless you want to take half of that position off you know, in this zone here for that. Or all of it for that matter, whatever you'd like to do, but I'll just play it out here. But the stop will need to go under wherever that top is over here. The stop will need to be under here somewhere. But you see how deep this wave 2 came down here to cover that gap here? You know, not to say that's going to do that again, but when a market's building, that's what you're up against, you know. It's very difficult to build in positions, you know. So what we've done here is quite good, really. I mean, we could have improved it. We could have gotten down on this first little 5 waves, but I wasn't there. We could have counted the 5 waves down here, and would have, you know, anyway, woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that. But I'm not like that. I always wait for the first impulse wave, and then if this risk is too much for you, then you'll need to take a good chunk of it off here, and you can double up on it back over here again, you know. So you can improve on that position, you know. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the week ahead. Cheers.